The views expressed in this presentation are those of the host and guests and do not represent the views of any lodge, Grand Lodge, appended body, or any other person or persons whomsoever.
Brethren, we are at Refreshment.
And I think that's it that Marty talked me into.
The greatest story of how you got interested in masonry.
Add a bottle or 2 bottles, beer, whatever you want.
The 33rd degree is really cool.
All you had to say was lapel pin or Chandler's coin.
Need to do this reduction plan of like what's really important.
It's nice. The grotto's more family oriented too, so that helps for sure.
Yeah. All right. Love you guys. All right, love you.
At Refreshment Masonic University.
But I mean, did you close that deal or did you just price it?
They were giving some
Very good.
I was very careful. Body travel insurance.
Why? Body travel.
In case something happens to the body?
In case you die overseas, and they have to transport your body. There's other things. You can't just like put them in.
Fun fact, Morgan Freeman made sure that his earrings are enough to
Cover his,
funeral
yeah.
in a foreign country.
That's old pirate right there. That's why pirates had all that, would have all the jewelry and everything, so they could be
funeral.
Yeah.
And pimps only wore jewelry so they couldn't confiscate their money.
It's odd about a pirate
Yeah, that
being
too.
concerned about that.
Pimps have all the gold and all the bling, so because they can't get that can't be confiscated. Whatever cash they have on them is confiscated.
Yeah. That's why when they need cash, you'll see them go pawn it real quick. All right, yep.
Everything's going. Take one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the At Refreshment Masonic Potty.
Yeah. Podcast.
Do it again.
Podcast.
Do it again. Do it again.
Welcome to the At Refreshment Masonic Video Podcast. I'm your host, Wesley Reuter, past master of Azure LaGrange Lodge number 770 and Raven Lodge 303 in Oswego, Illinois. Let's meet everybody else once again. To my right,
Shit, I'm on the right today. Eric Maxa, Villa Park Lodge 1113, Chai Il Grotto. Yeah. Keystone chapter as well as Chai Il High 12.
My name's Marty. I'm also in the Chai Tea Latte groups with friend Eric over here. Paz Master, Villa Park, friend to all. I love you guys.
Yoshi, past master of Villa Park Lodge, past high priest of Keystone Chapter, current monarch of Shayil Grotto,
Allegedly.
current chaplain of Shayil High 12, and the other few bodies I belong to, I am not an officer in. So good for you.
all right, and our guest today we have
John Madl.
I'd just like to point out if he actually listed his things out, it would take up the whole episode.
Yeah.
No.
We're making him uncomfortable already.
yeah. So Marty conned you into coming on the show to talk about a couple things.
Hey, but thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good to see you guys.
It's good to see you, brother.
I've watched so many episodes, actually a number of them, and
Thank you.
I liked it.
Sorry.
And I watched a bunch of them, and I enjoy watching them, but I'm like, I'm not going on that.
I've been arrogant, and I apologize.
You are.
And here I am. But he caught me.
Keeps watching it.
He
Why
got
am I
me
watching
here.
this? Keeps watching it.
Yeah, I enjoy watching them, and I think they're very good, and I like the topics and everything. But yeah, it wasn't until he mentioned he'd like me to come and talk about the coins that okay, I'm in. So
All right.
here I am.
Deal.
Well, thank you very much for coming on, John. We appreciate it. Masonry as a whole appreciates everything you do.
Yeah.
Honestly and truly. And it's an honor to have you on here, man.
And really, I think before we get to the coins, we got to talk about the man a little
We
bit,
do.
right?
We need to talk about the man, the myth, the legend. Oh, wait. No, that's Viggy. Can't say the legend, but the man and the myth.
Yeah, Viggy totally
The
deserves
man,
a legend.
the beard.
So I kind of felt a little humbled too. I watched an episode where you guys had Juan on here, and it was really really heartwarming to hear some of the nice things that were said, and I appreciate that. I think you guys go a little overboard, but thank you.
John, a lot of us look up to you, bud.
Yeah,
We really
John,
do.
like for real, you did actually. I know you were definitely there for my third when I was raised, and I want to say was he there for my first two?
Oh, I don't remember.
I can't remember. Either way, John, like, look, no offense, because I get it a lot too. Looks can be deceiving, and I remember when you got up to do the lecture, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good. And then after the lecture was over, I was just in awe of how well you did that and how it was. You had me on every word. You truly do. You did.
I appreciate that, because I do feel like that sometimes my voice, maybe I try to make a cadence in a lecture, but I think I will lose guys after I've given more than one lecture, because I've had to give a number of them for degrees. And I think by the time I've given 2, 3, or all of them, I've lost a guy because he's just hearing the same voice. So I hate that. But I try to deliver a nice cadence on each lecture, to make it interesting. But that cadence is kind of the same on all of them. So by the time I've given one, you've kind of heard them all.
Yeah, it's kind of like an AC/DC record.
Honestly, like John, honestly, you and Floyd, the two of you, whenever I hear whenever I hear you guys do the lectures, man, I am just like this. I'm like, this
Floyd's special.
For me, it wasn't the lecture that got me with John.
Ooh.
The first time I was awe-inspired with John was his education on our trip around the launch.
Yes, oh God,
The one
that
we-
is such a beautiful.
and you
education,
come here to
man.
do that for entered apprentices before, and we really appreciate it. When you kind of go over the prayer and everything you walk through.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting education piece, and because you move around the room and make it interactive, it really hits.
That's really my favorite, and that thing has evolved. I mean, to where you guys have seen it recently. When I first started doing that a few years earlier, it wasn't quite there. I've seen and learned a bunch more things that I think are really pertinent to that. So I think I guess you guys seen the 3.0 version.
Well,
I really like where
great.
it's evolved, and I appreciate that. I
it
love
is
giving it.
wonderful.
Little
I love
chips
giving
make
it.
a perfect Ashley.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. But John, honestly, please tell us, like, how did you begin your journey into Freemasonry? How, what brought you here?
So I didn't know anything about Masonry, not even a drop, into my 30s.
Okay.
And I was living in, I had sold my house in Chicago, and I moved in with my girlfriend, who's now my wife, in unincorporated Leiden. And the lodge I ended up joining, MIB, was in Franklin Park, which is just across Fullerton, across from where we kind of lived. So I could walk to that lodge. And I would drive by that all the time, coming home from work or riding my motorcycle. And I never realized that was a lodge or nothing. I never even saw the bikes out there. So I must have always been going by, not on the same night. And somehow I was caulking on a job, and a guy started talking about it. And me and my good friend were talking about it. He's like, hey, what do you think, Johnny? Should we become Masons? Because his grandfather was a Mason. So I pushed a little further. Unfortunately, I went to work, and I asked the wrong guy, and some guy who was one of those guys, he's like, it cost me $5,000 to be a Mason.
Oh, one of those guys. One of those guys. Okay, I thought, yeah.
Did he do life membership and absolutely everything he could possibly do? Possibly. Or did he have to get his record expunged? So he didn't have a felony? I have no idea. But so that turned me off right away. Well, another guy in that shop, I was a Mason, but there was a carpenter shop that we would have lunch at. Another carpenter by the name of Jim Sulius, some months after that, I started talking to him. And I said, listen, I'm interested in joining. What's this about?
Now, when you said you became a Mason, you're talking about an operative Mason.
No, I'm talking about speculative.
Okay.
Because I joined the, so I'm not necessarily a bricklayer like Aaron was. I'm what's considered a tuck pointer, caulker, and cleaner. And we're part of the masonry trowel trades. So we do mostly restoration work. Now, it's supposed to be if we do too much stone, terracotta, or brickwork, we're supposed to call a bricklayer in, but sometimes we're allowed to do so much, and that's really what we do. So a lot of restoration work downtown and around the city is us.
Okay.
But I've been doing that since I was 24, so early 90s to mid 90s.
Okay.
And well, actually, what happened was how I really started talking about the masonry was I took my rat bike to a motorcycle event, and I saw some Masons there. And I'm like, you guys are Masons? I didn't translate the Masons with biker mentality, but these were Widow Son guys.
Okay.
And they're like, yeah. So I started talking to them. I'm like, you know Jim Sulius? And they're like, yeah, we know that. And it turns out they really didn't like him. But so I go back to the shop.
Imagine that.
So I go back to the shop and I start talking to Jim, and he goes, oh, they're members of my lodge. It's right there in Fullerton. And he told me the address. I'm like, that's walking distance from my house. How could that thing be there? And I didn't even know about it. So he gave me this crazy book, and I bought one on my own right after. He goes, read this and tell me what you think afterwards. And it's full of great information, some weird stuff, and then some like stuff that would make you run from Masonry for the rest of your life. And I came back and I says, listen, man, I'm not into all this. I don't know about this new one world government and all. And he goes, that's all the BS part. That's fine. If you're interested, I could take you to lodge. You can meet the guys, have dinner. And that's how it all got rolling. And MIB was so busy that it took several months. I started going in May of 07, and I didn't get my first degree till January of 8.
Oh, wow.
That's how busy that lodge was.
Wow.
But I went every meeting aside from maybe 2. Every meeting, and I sat down there until those guys came back downstairs. You know, that was just me. I thought I've always had the mentality, if you're going to do something like that around other men, you got to prove yourself.
No, that's dedication. And yeah, you're a union worker, and that's how it is. You pay your dues no matter what. You know, whether it's payments or you gotta sit there and you know.
And I wouldn't translate that to union. I would just translate that to, you know, you have to be accepted among the guys you work with, right?
Yeah.
You know,
No, that's true.
for me, I hate kind of sometimes using union word, but
Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. You know.
I guess it's just so everybody understands the mentality of it. So you're not surprised by how it operates and all that you're going to go through. So,
Well, no, I mean, you know, if you really think about it, if you know, when you go to union meetings and the union hall and everything, and everything's being discussed, a lot of the terminology that should be used, we kind of do use. You know, when you
they borrow from us. I'll tell you, when they swear in an apprentice to a journeyman, you listen to what they're telling the guy to repeat, and they're reading out of the book that Jay. That's what pisses me off. You've done this for how many guys and you can't learn it? But yeah, I'm listening to it, and it's like, it almost sounds like, you know, when you listen to our obligation, it's 18th century legal mumbo jumbo, right? When you listen to all that, or excepted B, that's legal mumbo jumbo. That's fine print.
Yeah.
The union does that a little bit when you're elevated from journeyman to apprentice, or from apprentice to journeyman. But what ticks me off is when they say the Pledge of Allegiance there, it is quiet. When I go to lodge and we say the Pledge of Allegiance,
oh, it's booming.
Yeah, everybody's saying
really?
And it'll be a room twice as big as this with 4 times as many guys as the lodge has, and they can't even say it with any like
conviction.
Wow,
that upsets me. There's gonna be a time where I'm gonna tell them I go to a lodge and 20 guys say it way better than you guys.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with nationality. I'm just saying there's lots of, you know, Americans in there. You know, I mean, obviously our union has lots of guys from different countries, you know, Poland or Mexico, but it's nobody's really saying it with any kind of upsets.
No, that's terrible.
You're supposed to say it with heart.
Yeah.
You're pledging your allegiance, kind of like how we pledge our allegiance to this fraternity.
And I know I spun this off into that. But
you know, emphasis. You know, you have to believe what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're just going through the motions, are you really truly pledging your allegiance to the flag?
Yeah.
No,
I feel.
I mean, if you don't have your heart in it, then you're not in it. You're really not. No matter what it is. No matter you're just saying the pledge. It's not only if you're taking your obligations. It's not only if you're swearing an oath. You know, if your heart ain't in it fully, then you're not in it, and you shouldn't be doing it.
Pledge of Allegiance.
You know.
Oh yeah.
And I gotta tell you, most times I go to lodge, I hear it. It's wonderful. You know, it's
emphatic.
It is.
You're really placing the emphasis on it.
Yeah.
So to tie back into your road, starting with MIB, if I'm gonna test my John facts right now. I believe the first chair you may have dabbled with was chaplain.
Yeah, everyone hears me talk about that, so yeah, you're right.
So okay, cool. So you started with chaplain. You're in there. You kind of paid your dues. They made you wait a little bit. You're liking what you're seeing. When most people think John, besides great guy to know, it's you are an amazing ritualist. You are officially, you're on the Board of Grand Examiners for the state of Illinois, I believe, correct? You are a grand lecturer, Scotch Rite degree team, all that vibe. When did you decide that your foothold in this fraternity was going to really be in that part?
It actually happened quite slowly.
Okay.
They wanted me to get in line, but at that time I still thought I was about to move to Michigan. And I said, no, I don't want to get in line because I might be moving. But they had, immediately after being raised, they made 3 of us who were just raised to take fellowcraft parts for the 3rd degree. So I learned a part, and that was torturous. I mean, I was reading that second fellowcraft part in the car and just bombing on the first line over and over for days. And I'm going, this is impossible because most people don't talk that way.
Yeah.
And it was torturous, but I got it and I nailed it because I wanted to prove to the lodge that I could do it. So they heard my voice and he said, the going in master said, well, if you won't get in line, how about being the chaplain? So I looked at the blue book for that. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I think I could learn that stuff because I actually never did the long form catechisms, but I learned the first one. But there was nobody in lodge because one guy left to help his wife start a business. He was the only guy that could really proof me for a long form catechism in open lodge. And after that, I quit really doing it, and I just did kind of a short version of that. So I took the chaplain's chair, and I was really happy there for 3 years. I didn't learn anything more. I just knew 2 fellowcraft parts because the other one was relatively easy after that. And then I got to hearing the Hiram part in the 3rd degree, and I'm like, well, that's a prayer too. I should learn that. If I'm the noted chaplain of MIB, I should learn that. And that was arduous for me, man. That was just, like, learning lectures to me early on was such torture. It was like trying to teach yourself to walk. It's like you keep trying, I would torture myself with these lines. And once I had a couple lines in my head, if I had any idle time in my brain, it went straight to that. And that used to, and I'm going to go back to, you guys might enjoy this. We played Dungeons and Dragons and actually some more role playing, even some Star Wars stuff for many years. And I was always the game master, and I always had to come up with new stuff.
Yeah.
And that ended up just encompassing all my thought, and it got tiring. So that's kind of how learning lectures were first for me. You know, because I keep torturing myself with got to keep doing it. Anytime I had an idle moment. And
any tips you can give anybody how to
well,
Play
raise them
Dungeons and
better?
Dragons. I just played my first game last week.
you're done. So, oddly enough, I joined a lodge in the Upper Peninsula, and there's a guy from Colorado there, really interesting guy. His name is Dave Lawrence, awesome guy. This guy has gone through just about everything in his life, and he started a nice, successful business up there near the college town. But he originally come from Colorado, where he joined Masonry, and he said there that there, at the time, or at least the lodge he was at, their blue books were only single key.
Oh, okay.
Single key means the first letter of every word. So you might have 3 A's in a row or something, because you might have and, as, and something. And I thought that was really interesting. And he said, yeah, we could give ritual just based on the letters, just practicing.
Wow.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
So what I thought was, I'm like, that's really cool. And he goes, but that's how I learned. So I proceeded to take all of our ritual, and I wrote it in single key, which means the first letter of every one. But I did myself a favor. For ands, I made the symbol and, so it wasn't an A.
Okay.
And I would just go about looking at, I would read the lecture or the ritual I needed to learn. I read it over and over a bunch of times, and then wrote it in single key, and I would go about just trying to read those first letters. And I'll tell you what, that's how it made me get every letter of every lecture. I don't mix up words unless I haven't been refreshed.
So do you really do you really credit that to how you really ingrained it in yourself?
Yes, that
Wow.
single key made me focus on every word. Because when you read something, what will guys do? They start using a different word that's almost like that word.
Yeah.
It could even be
You're
the same.
predicting it.
And that's what they do. And they have that now in their head. And then when they continue to give the lecture, they may read it in the book to refresh themselves, but they never quiz themselves on it, so they never catch it. Now, I still had to be refined when I started going to Reuben Owens, and God bless him, man. He's way more awesome than I am, I think.
Ruben's the man.
When I went to Reuben, yeah, he had my blue book, and he was making pencil marks, like, well, you missed that, you missed this word or that. But generally, I was close, and that's what I attribute the single key to.
Wow, that's cool.
But it would be neat. I mean, most lectures, it took me 3 weeks to learn, but I had been hearing them for a number of years because don't forget, I was chaplain for many years, and I wasn't pursuing all this other stuff right away. It was actually many years of listening.
Right.
So that helped. But I learned every lecture in 3 weeks, aside from the senior deacons lecture, which I learned early, and that took me definitely 3 months.
Oh, wow.
And that was, like I was telling you, the torturous part.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, it was so torturous.
Yeah, I usually do like a memory palace type thing. So I get a picture of the word that seems similar to it and go with that. That seems pretty easy for me.
Right.
But the lectures, just going on and on, I have a difficult time with. It's easier for me to go back and forth with somebody. That's where I think
And real quick, I would used to sit as chaplain and watch a guy give the obligation or a lecture and go, that is amazing. How do they do that? So I'm telling you, if I could do it, everybody could do it. You can't.
You know what? You just got to put the time and effort.
I'm decent with words. I just still can't figure out when to knock.
Well, you got that whole first degree, degree part. It's got to be explained to you, and once it's explained to you, I think that'll help. And I got a tip for you.
No, I mean opening lodge, man. I can't figure out when to knock, if it's before or after.
Opening short form.
I'm gonna tell you.
You don't knock until lodge is open.
Good to know.
Well,
and now you all know.
That's all right. Yeah, Raven, we're gonna tumble through our OB because we're doing stuff like that. So, all right. Well, we're gonna have to take a break real quick, and we will be right back.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. Okay. And we're back. We're here talking with John, getting to know him a little bit, and now we're going to talk about his coins. I see.
They're two-sided coins.
Sure, they're not three.
I can make
Jesus Christ, 3.
So that's it. That's on me.
What, brother?
Yeah, he.
your coins.
So what do you really want to know about the coins?
All right, so
what they
John,
are
check it out.
At time?
John, you've been talking to me about this project for a little bit. I think you probably started talking to me about probably a year or two before we really got it rolling, or you got it rolling more or less.
Yeah, it actually goes back a bit further than that.
Well, dude, you have this great program. It's upright and true, correct?
Well, that ended up being the website to help promote the coins. I had to come up with a name, and I was trying to come up with something that probably wasn't already taken online with
Yeah,
all the other
which is
Masonic
hard.
things.
Yeah.
And upright and true just sort of kind of happened. So yeah.
So I remember when you first explained these to me, and I don't want, maybe I wasn't comprehending what it was, but what made you get them one day and decide that I'm going to create a coin system to acknowledge brothers? Where did this all start?
Well, I would say, first of all, it's always been a big passion of mine that people should always get credit for their work or endeavors.
Yeah.
That's how I operate at work. When I'm close enough with somebody, or even guys that I don't like, if they've done something, I think they should get credit for it. And maybe we're men, we're not supposed to like always pat each other on the back about every little thing. But in Masonry, we're supposed to be brothers. We're supposed to try to bridge our connections a little tighter. So that, to me, is just a little bit more paramount. And what happened was, I thought about making a coin. Initially, the coin project started, since I was an instructor, I thought that CLIs and grand lecturers could have these coins, and anytime they went to a lodge and saw a guy doing something a little bit better than anybody else, at the end of that night, they might just present that guy and say, listen, this is from an instructor of this state. I think you're doing a good job. Keep it up.
Wow, that's cool.
Okay.
I started communicating that with different guys, and especially Omar Ali, who was kind of on board, but he just wasn't 100% sure. I went back to a kind of a drawing board, and it ended up morphing into a merit award coin, which is kind of what it is at present, which is awarding different virtues to guys for things they have done in the Masonic fraternity, or even outside of it. So I decided on 3 coins. It was going to be character, charity, and commitment. And I decided to put the Founding Fathers on there. And the reason the Founding Fathers ended up on there is not only do I have a love of the Revolutionary period and the founding of this country tied to Masonic, not that I believe all the Masons founded this country, but that's just where my interest lies. But I was going to do it for Green Dragon Lodge and our tie to, why we called it Green Dragon Lodge, which was, part of the Revolutionary period. And that really didn't sit well with them because I don't think they understood it 100%. Where was I going with this? I told them I would fund half of it if the lodge could fund the other half, and then they could pick it up as a fundraiser and maybe a notoriety thing for Green Dragon Lodge.
Very unique. Yeah.
To draw members. And on the backside, I was going to have the colonial flag, and it was going to say the Green Dragon motto, which we kind of have on our mugs, which is faith, family, founding, and fraternity. And since it didn't really work well with them, it kind of went on a hiatus for 2 years. And then I just got really pumped and motivated. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this on my own now. And that's not really what I wanted to do, but I definitely needed the money. So I needed a couple grand. I funded half of it myself. I got 20 pledges. I think it was about 20 pledges on board who all donated $75 to help me get this going. What I promised all the pledges was each of 3 coins, and on the backside of each of their coins would be numbered 357. And I guess I should explain that each coin, the idea was you would present this as a gift to a brother. Either a single brother could buy this for a brother in lodge, or a whole lodge as an appreciation or something. But to me, the special kicker was supposed to be that on the backside of the coins, there was a field where the coins would be numbered. And each of those coins, each of the 3 different coins have a specific number, and that could be tied on a website to that guy's name and his lodge. So it would be a special gift where everyone could go back, and you could always see that coin 32 is designated to this brother forever. And so the website was another whole aspect that was supposed to arise from it. And I just thought that would be a special way. A special way to
idea.
No, it is. That is a great idea.
And that's the thing, right? So I learned about these coins, not from another brother or anything like that, but I learned about these when John actually came and presented them in person in our lodge to people who were being dedicated to. And he went through the spiel of what each was representative of, or everything like that. And I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's
a great concept that you put in.
Great meritorious ability in something should be rewarded.
And there's the little Masonic things on the front of every coin. The backside, since it didn't go through Green Dragon Lodge, I had to come up with something. And the backside is actually Mont Emblem Cemetery here in Elmhurst.
Okay.
The 3, 5, and 7 steps with those pillars with the faith, there's actually statues of faith, hope, and charity with the square, level, and plumb at the top, except I added the, all coins that I've ever done have always added that same all-seeing eye at the top. The proficiency coins, the Elmhurst coins, they always have that all-seeing eye on there somewhere. And I talked to the cemetery about legal rights, and they said, well, if you use your own picture that you took that of, we're perfectly fine with it. They had a talk.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's why I ran with it. So I don't know. I know I'm leaving out a bunch that would probably fill a lot of people in on more information, but it was really the pledges that helped me get this started, who I'm really grateful for. Todd Thorson of Elmhurst Lodge, who made the website, who every time he's had to like alter it for my new crazy ideas, it is just materialized into something special.
Todd's one of the greatest humans on earth.
That guy goes above and beyond, but he's got a short fuse because he sees all the bad guys. He has to deal with so much of the bad guys, but I think he is definitely reinforced by the good guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's seen a lot of stuff over his years that I think he holds on to more than he should sometimes, but yeah.
For every crazy idea I had to follow Marty into.
True. But Todd is literally that dude where you ask him for an inch and then he forcibly gives you like 3 feet.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, you're going to take all this love. And I mean, Todd, we've called you on the show before. We love you, Todd.
You should try to have him just talk with you here. You know, he's done a lot for this fraternity. A lot of his own personal time and money and sacrifice for sure. There's a guy.
Yeah, totally.
So how many of these coins have you given out? Do you know? Or?
So another side thing. Okay, so I'm at 60 of at least the commitments, almost as much in the charity and character coins. So, you know, that's, well, you figure 60 of each, that's what, 120, 180, 100, almost 180 coins. And I forgot to mention too, that everybody knows usually when I'm selling them that $10 of every coin gets put into a kitty. And every time I get up to $600, I take the $600, split it 3 ways, $200 checks go to each of the 3 youth groups.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
I believe you sent out an email about that today, too, to all the original investors.
So I was really contemplating all this today. I literally sent out, because of everybody buying coins, I was able to send out checks, the 3rd run of checks.
Nice.
So 3 D Malay chapters,
Nice.
3 Rainbow Girl chapters, and 3 Job's Daughter chapters have each received $200 checks. To do
That's
with
awesome.
what is that they will. Now sometimes they throw it back in international, and I don't care. That's fine. I'd rather see it be more local.
Yeah.
If they want to do a local charity, or if they needed garments or to save for a trip that they always take. You know,
Yeah, they're
just
always taking trips.
right.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's
Yeah,
really their.
they should use it. Yeah, they should use it for their home chapter or whatnot.
But they've
Be a
sometimes.
little stingy with that money.
Yeah, a
But you know
little bit.
what? But if you just give kids money, then they don't work. They're also trying to teach those youths how to work and raise money. So if you just give them checks, then
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So I understand too why some have donated to
They
international.
turn out money.
I don't know.
Now, this it's your company that you do.
Yeah, so that's the hard part. I remember it was about 2 years ago when I finally got it started, and I should have filled out all the paperwork for that. All I did was just open up a separate bank account where I don't touch. Everything that is for the coins goes there, and it's not really filed. If they have some dough, because it looks like
Just to edit that out.
it looks like people are paying me a lot of money for nothing.
All I heard was the money is for charity.
Well,
Yeah.
well, and just to be certain, it was never
Don't back away from the table, Nixon. Just
it was never my motivation to make any money from this.
No, I don't think
When
you
I first
have.
started it, I wanted it to be a notoriety thing for Green Dragon or possibly a fundraiser. You get, even if we got $2 off every coin, hey, what the hell? Because at the time Green Dragon was struggling, but for myself, I did mark it up a smidge because I thought I was going to be shipping these coins all over the darn place, and that was going to cost a lot of my time and effort shipping them. And as it turns out, I've shipped very rarely. So the coffers got a bit bigger, and I was able to buy in bulk, which brought the coin price down. So sometimes, as opposed to the coins, once I divide them down after buying a lot, as opposed to it being $10 a coin, sometimes I've gotten it down as low as $7.50 or so.
Oh, wow.
Closer to $8. You know, it's under $8, and then that was helping me to save dough. So,
Well, John, I have a strange feeling. I'm aware of the reach of our show, and I think you might end up shipping a couple after this episode goes
and that's
live.
fine. I've actually been happy with the response of the coins not being too overwhelming and not too slow. If it was overwhelming, it'd be like, yeah, I got to spend a lot of evenings or weekends, you know, doing a lot of paperwork and such.
But no, we're gonna put up a link for this, right?
Yeah, we
You know,
definitely-
honestly, guys, yeah, we could try.
Check below.
Honestly, if
There's a
we
link,
get a
probably
link, if we get a link for this up, you know, honestly, click it, look at the website. If you know a brother that deserves one of these coins, you know, look into them. They are
They
heavy.
are
We'll have to shoot some B-roll for
Yeah,
it.
these are heavy coins. There's a lot of detail on these. You know, honestly, like I said, if you know a brother who deserves one of these coins, you know, talk to the lodge or you do it yourself. You know, get one for them.
Now, John, you said you chose specific founding fathers for each coin.
That was going to be my next.
And what kind of led you to choose these specific founding fathers? For instance, I'm holding Commitment, which has Paul Revere on it.
So Paul Revere, Commitment was like almost obvious. It's amazing. If you know a little bit of stuff about something, it almost writes itself. Commitment was easy. Paul Revere is a guy who joined a lodge, I want to say it was in the 1760s. It might have been the 1750s, but whatever it was, he joined St. Andrew's Lodge, which ended up owning the tavern, which was Green Dragon, where also the Sons of Liberty met. And he had been a past master many times. He was the Grand Master of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, right?
Yeah.
Massachusetts.
You're talking about major involvement, wrote the Paul Revere charges that many jurisdictions use. There is a man of total commitment to Freemasonry. And when you look at the symbols that are on there, I got the symbol to the left of him is a past master's jewel that he made for George Washington. Even though George Washington wasn't super involved in Masonry, he was a member and he did like it. To the right of Paul Revere is the Anchor and Arc from a Masonic ritual. And just listen to that ritual and you'll understand why I chose him. On Franklin, you have the beehive because the man was super industrious in all his life. And to the left of him is all the things that he helped get started in Philadelphia. Churches, schools, fire department. The lightning bolt is on there because he never patented the lightning rod to go on top of houses that were grounded to prevent fires from lightning strikes.
Yeah, I remember reading about that. I'm like,
And Washington has the Washington Masonic Memorial, and also the above picture of that, which has the captions written at the top of the George Washington monument that says Laus Deo, which is kind of like praise God forever, or always be praise be to God. So,
That's all.
but I also, before you guys cut this short, I got something that should be presented probably to Villa Park Lodge in session.
Oh.
But I felt this would be more special here.
Ooh.
I'll have one of you guys if you choose to read it, or
Guys, it's a wooden board.
on the backside.
Hey, read it out loud. I'm over
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm reading it myself. I'm reading it here. Go ahead,
It's
Marty.
just the kindest thing anyone's handed me in a while. Showing it to everybody right here. We'll get some B-roll. The Charity Virtue coin is presented to the 2022 or 6022 line officers of Villa Park Lodge, number 1113, for their kind and charitable display while visiting Green Dragon Lodge 821 on February 26, 2022, and for the gracious and charitable pursuits they are known for. Holy crap, John! I remember that now that you're
Everything that you guys, I've always heard about the soup kitchens and the Salvation Army lines. You guys, and I did say line officers. I probably should have said just the Brethren of Villa Park Lodge.
Nah, we know who's doing it.
But
with my
To be fair,
Hey, I'm not on there.
yeah,
That's
so
what I mean.
with my warmest
I'm not on there,
for the
but
brethren
hey.
of this lodge, is my honor to acknowledge those in our craft who display the tenets that make this fraternity such a treasure. May heaven's blessing shine. John, I love you, buddy. Thank
John,
you
that's
so much.
awesome.
so in the middle, it's got a charity coin. If you flip it over, and if you look with your phone, it's actually the number 21.
21!
So you guys got number 21. It's
Our
already
plaque
listed
and-
on the website.
Our plaque's old enough to party. I love it. Well, John, I definitely wasn't expecting
Hey,
this.
Philip Park over here that would like to see it too.
His
Oh,
name's
yeah.
on it too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
your name made
Mine
it
is
on.
on it.
Give it to the host first.
Oh, the host requires payment too.
Oh, that was for my first year as junior deacon.
Yeah. Was a good.
Yeah, well, it took me a while. I've been scheming this for a while, and now finally this winter I got around to doing it, and I decided how I was going to do it. And then when this was happening, I made sure I had it. So,
Well,
John, this is better than a hearty Pledge of Allegiance
it's right up there. Yeah.
I don't know about that, man, but still.
because it's got my name on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the pledge on that one, comrade.
Yeah.
I'm
John,
not much
that
of
is
a
super
carpenter,
cool.
so it's a rough piece of work. But there you go.
It's the greatest
John, that's
thing.
beautiful, John.
And that's a wow, John.
Hold on, we'll see.
It's not square. It's not square.
What's that? That one's good.
So up north, I got a table saw. I had to do that with a skill saw down here.
We're off by a half degree on this one.
Oh my gosh! Is there
Yeah,
light?
nice.
Is
Light on the edge.
that light's getting through it?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's not square work.
And some
You know what?
told me that would
That's
happen.
true work, square work, if I've ever seen it.
It's true work, good enough work, and by gosh, you're gonna pass it.
Oh man.
John, that is beautiful.
Just make sure it doesn't go in lodge since it's not square.
No, this is going up in
That's
that.
going in the main hall.
Yeah.
Man.
This might be for the members lounge. I
But no,
don't know.
honestly, I would honestly, John, I would love to have you present that in lodge.
Yeah, honestly, given like having a sneak peek is awesome, but actually having this presented at lodge, like guys are gonna.
Yeah. So
guys are
this
gonna-
episode.
The torturous part was how do I devise it that the coin doesn't get ripped off easily and snagged? Like it shouldn't happen, but
Right?
No, it is going.
Born and raised in Chicago. I
it's
can't help
going-
it.
Hey, no, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
There's I could see a screw on the wall right there. It can go right there, right next to the door.
We'll hire an armed guard to stand with him at all
he'll-
times.
You know, there'll be an armed guard at all times there.
John,
and I'm gonna
that-
get
that's
myself
the
a
coolest
post-it
thing
note,
ever.
and I'm gonna write my name on it, and I'm just gonna stick it on there though.
You can sign it. I suppose, you know. You can say, I stood out in front of Jewel in the freezing weather on.
Many times.
Anytime.
We'll just hire the worshipful brothers McCarthy.
No. Honestly, I kid, but no. This is I was not an officer in that
Well,
time period, so
and-
it's like
And I did make the
I'm not,
mistake that
you know,
it
it's just
was
jokes.
first in regards to when you guys came there and we passed a hat and a bunch of Villa Park guys tossed into it and we weren't even asking them for it and they did. And then I got to thinking about it afterwards about I know you guys just going out and doing a lot of different charitable things.
try, brother.
And
Yeah, we try.
more so than I know other lodges usually get up and do. And you guys should be credited. You should get some acknowledgement. It's same as the coins. Some appreciation for it. So.
Coming from somebody who's still relatively new to lodge, I'm still less than 2 years into masonry. I have seen more beautiful acts of kindness and charity, not just from my lodge, but when I visit other lodges and I see what every lodge does for their community, for their brethren. I mean, Elmhurst Lodge, Lombard Lodge, I know those guys do blood drives. We've done our own blood drives and just working hand in hand with those close by lodges that we have and seeing what we're doing to improve our community, to improve ourselves, to just go out and just do for others and never really concern ourselves with the details of how much this event's going to cost. You know, Villa Park recently did the hot chocolate event. We didn't ask for donations. We didn't ask
I
for
love the
anything
fact
back.
that you guys are there, and I think everyone is.
We were just handing out just cups of hot cocoa on a cold day. We had a bonfire
Super.
going to the site. You know, people could go chill and hang out around the bonfire, warm themselves, and it's just community.
Yeah.
And beautiful charity and brotherly love has really affirmed the fact that I love being in this fraternity.
Well said, brother.
Yeah, well said, man.
Very good.
Well, with that, I guess that brings us to the end of our episode.
A very, very quality episode.
Very quality.
Most quality.
Quality, very quality.
So, any shouts out?
Actually, you know, all the guys at Green Dragon Lodge, it's really one of the coolest lodges I get to visit. They meet Saturday mornings.
They have breakfast.
It's a yeah.
We're meeting this Saturday.
It's a casual lodge, and in dress. It's not suit and tie. There's breakfast. All the guys are really cool. Shout out Matt Carth. I love going out smoking a cigar with you afterwards. They've had a great string of worshipfuls through there. Juan Gutierrez, who's one of my best friends, ended up coming through there, and inadvertently he only became my friend because by happenstance working with you on degrees, and you guys had to use our building one time, and Juan's one of my best friends, and John, you're someone I always look up to and admire. My wife says I drag her to too many Masonic Lodge installations, but she did say that the person who does them the best and the one she enjoys the most is you. So and that's my big shout out.
You're lucky. She's very sweet woman.
That's all I got today, boys.
All right.
Honestly, check the link below. We're going to try and get it up there.
Up right and true.
Coins. And smash like and subscribe.
Either we put up a link, or we're gonna have to just make a regular post with a link or pictures or something.
I mean, we could tag a link in it.
Yeah, like something. We gotta do something.
I'll get it done somehow or another.
Yeah.
So, well, that's
We're
the end of
computer illiterate, and we have a podcast.
Yeah.
You guys are not me. Well, with that, if you haven't figured it out, you're watching us on YouTube or Rumble. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and something else. Oh, yeah, SoundCloud. We still have that, I guess.
And just in the comments below, put where you're from. We'd love to see how far we're reaching out.
Please comment. Comment. Tell us what lodge you're from, what state you're from. Yeah, you Illuminati guys need to stop it. You gotta stop it. Seriously.
If you haven't hit smash, lightly touch the subscribe button, whatever. It's
a small click for you, but it's a big thing for us. So yeah.
Gently tickle the like button.
Okay, calm down. All right, that's it. We're out of here.
Bye, everybody.
If they're Illuminati, you want to see their dues card.
Yeah, dues card.